Hi everybody, my name is Martin Loffers. I'm Chief Trend Watcher of Supply Chain Media. You also might know me as Editor-in-Chief of Supply Chain Movement, European Quarterly, and also a website, and you use the LinkedIn group. Welcome everybody for joining us. We have a great hour of supply chain knowledge to share, and we have three experts here in the audience as panelists. So you will see to the left, that's me. That's me, Martin Loffers. I'm Chief Trend Watcher. And I have three experts for the coming hour. And we'll have an interesting discussion. This presentation will be recorded. Later on, we will put it on YouTube. And also, you are all on mute as an audience. But feel free to ask questions. You will find a questions panel, a questions pane on the right side, so you can type in the questions. So feel free to ask the question during our conversation. We will have a Q&A at the end, but we want to make it as interactive as possible. So we have a discussion among each other, but also feel free to ask all the questions you want. So again, welcome everybody for joining this webinar, and I have three experts. Very knowledgeable experts from both the vendor side, the retail, and the manufacturing side. So that's a quite interesting panel, I would say. First, Frank, welcome.
Hello, Martin. Hello, everybody.
So please, explain who you are and give me a bit of a background, what your responsibility is and what you're doing in the supply chain at Auchan.
Yes. Okay, a few words about me and about Auchan. I am in charge of operation, IT and logistics for Auchan in Romania. Me personally, I was involved since 10 years in development of logistics, supply and IT solution for Auchan in Romania. Previously, I spent 10 years for Auchan in Russia for logistic development of our network across Russian country. Auchan is French leading retailer implemented in different countries across Europe, Africa, and Asia. We are developing different client solutions around convenience store, hypermarkets, supermarkets, and digital solutions, offering different brands, dry, fresh, and ultra fresh food, and offering a lot of reliable solutions in non-food. We have also a strong experience in seasonal product. Our proposal are based on many international flow, and all of this creating different supply chain challenges. Recently in Romania, we developed a partnership with a petrol station company to provide 400 convenience stores in petrol station. It's also a part of our challenge in supply chain and IT development to reach performance. This is, in two words, Auchan in Romania and myself.
Okay, thanks, Frank. We will get back to the e-commerce challenges and all things happening at your side. Let's start. Sebastian, welcome. Could you explain something about your background?
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm Sébastien Morion, Business Unit Manager in TESISQUARE. So TESISQUARE is an international software vendor company focused in supply chain and transportation. So in this company, I'm focusing on some key international accounts and some Italian accounts in order to follow them on all the transport and supply chain matters. Okay, so the mission of TESISQUARE is mainly to connect people, to connect the different actors of the supply chain, and we do it through a digital ecosystem, putting together technology and process in a collaboration square. Okay, so we are present in 4 branches, one in Netherlands, one in France, one in Spain, and one in Germany. Okay, and through our customer, we are present in 44 countries. So TESISQUARE, same if it's an Italian company, is now an international company leading with most of the most important customers in the world, and Auchan and Haier are probably.
Okay, thanks. So TESISQUARE is a software vendor, but you are providing only cloud solutions and made it possible to get more visibility across companies.
Exactly. Right. So our mission is this one, is to put in a unique digital platform all the actors of the supply chain and the transportation in order to make more collaborative all the processes and to give a digital capabilities to all of our customers.
Okay. Yeah, we will get to the topic of end-to-end supply chain visibility later on in depth, because there's a lot of things happening, especially in the COVID-19 area. Sydney, let's move over to you. Could you explain a bit by yourself? I have a few slides, but Sydney, welcome, and explain something about your background in Haier.
Okay, hello everybody. Well, I have let me say, a significant experience in supply chain through automotive and white goods industries. Now I'm heading the logistic of Haier Europe. Haier is a group of a leading group in white goods industry who acquired the Candy Group 1 year ago. Here you can see some number regarding Haier Europe. We are 7% market share in the sector, number 5 in the ranking. Here you can see our European network, but the most important to have a look on the right side where we have China, that is one of our most important sources. As you can also see here, our network is, every factory is specialized by a product line, so our network is a fully integrated network between sources and markets, and these require a strong effort of bringing the information and make them visible across the supply chain. Yeah, this is telling a bit more regarding our strategy, where we wish to move from just selling appliances to sell services through a solution that we call ecosystem, and is supported basically by the new IoT technology. But again, this is just to reinforce the concept that the flow of information and the connection between all the actors in the supply chain is really a key topic for us.
But you know, I guess you're not there yet. So in an ideal world, you have connected dishwashers and freezers.
Well, as Candy, we are leading the European market of IoT, and we have a full range of connected appliances. But it is not just to connect the appliances. The concept is to bring adding value to the user through new experiences and new services that we can bring together with the appliance. Just to make you an example, Haier is a market leader at a worldwide level on the wine coolers. We have a service in which we can sell the wine coolers, but we can also sell the service to keep the wine cooler always well supplied with the preferred wines. So we put together the product and the service, and we believe strongly in this. That is in our concept the future of our industry.
I was wondering, Frank, you are in a retail at Auchan and you're selling wine, so you're also part of this ecosystem. Can you relate to this vision and how this Auchan is positioned in this IoT world?
IoT, for the moment, we are how to say, we see a lot of perspective with the IoT solution in order to better follow, track, understand, and get the data that are essential to improve and to make perform our supply chain. But we are really at the beginning of this subject and not well advanced in this direction.
I think it's quite new. We have done some surveys about that, but we'll get that later on. All right. You know, for the discussion's sake, I present you some findings of research we did earlier this year. So we did a survey among 142 manufacturing companies in Europe and some retailers, but mostly manufacturing companies. So that was in March at the peak of the COVID-19 crisis. And what you can see here, so the new thing was there were increases and drops of demand and supply at the same time. In the past, with a tsunami, you had only drops in supply, but now you see that COVID-19 has hit companies both on the demand side and on the supply side. And so some companies experience, sudden drops, but also in the retail, huge increases. So it was a mixed bag. So I was wondering, getting back to you, Frank, what did you experience in March during COVID-19?
It was a very challenging period, yes, because from the beginning of March, we felt a big increase of the activity in the food products, especially. Mm-hmm. We had big increasements of the sales on very essential products, flour, pasta, yes, which was the main focus for the client coming to our shop. And it was a fluctuation, it was exactly what is teach as bullwhip effect. We grow, and after down when the lockdown started. And this is mainly what we experienced in March. To give an idea, for retailer, an important period is December. December, it is the period where we sell everything, non-food, food, and the volume growing very high. And in March, we experienced nearly the same period of activity as December.
And for how long did you experience that?
We experienced this period from let's say beginning of March, end of first week, second week of March till beginning of April. And after, the volume became a little more stable all along the period of lockdown.
And were there certain products where you had a lack of supply so that the suppliers couldn't deliver?
Yes, for sure. In this context, we face some difficulties to procure some food products, as I said, like flour, like pasta, and it was very difficult to supply this kind of product because the synchronization was totally perturbed by the evolution of the sales. And some products, okay, it's not plug and play. You need time to produce them. Yes, for example, to grow the volume of yeast, it's very important. It's needing time to be produced. And for some kind of products like this, we had some shortages, quite long, before to come back to the normality.
And Frank, sorry, Sydney, what about Haier? Because in the automotive, you saw a lot of automotive manufacturers had to shut down because they didn't have any spare parts. How did it happen in your environment with white goods?
Well, we started suffering a crisis in supply in January because we have factories in China, as you can imagine. So when the lockdown happened in China, we had this issue to be able to produce and to supply to Europe. At that stage, Europe seems to be out of this, very far from this issue, as with the previous epidemic that didn't hurt Europe so much. But then, as China overcame this, and after the end of February, basically, they started again with production at full stream, we had the shock in Europe. So before, a shock in demand and supply, and later on, just after, a shock in the demand, because with the lockdown, most of our customer retailers, they were willing to postpone or cancel their deliveries. And at that stage, we had to slow down the supply that has been just accelerated in order to find a reasonable, let me say, a reasonable balance. 2-3 months later, June, July, the demand went up again very rapidly, and let me say quite in a stable way, until now, that we risk another shutdown in Europe, another lockdown in Europe, the demand is still very strong. So since June, July, we had to face this increase of demand in order to be able to supply what was needed. With several challenges behind on the suppliers of finished goods, on the suppliers of components, and on the supplier of tier 1 and tier 2 level. So it has been very, very complicated to keep the machine fast and efficient.
So, and Sebastian, you have oversight of a lot of your customers in all areas. What do you experience on demand supply among your customers?
Yeah, so we have the chance to have a customer on more or less all the main sector of business. So we saw all the case. So starting from the one with a big crisis on the demand, like a fashion business or automotive business, so the crisis was really high for them. Going to an increase, a great increase of the demand for retail, food retail, but also for all the healthcare products. Okay, also on this part, mainly in Italy. The healthcare category products had a big increase. Same if people remain in house. This part of product categories goes very well. The problem that we saw was for the retail, for example, and the healthcare was on supplies. So we saw that during this period, based on the origin of the product, the supply didn't follow the demand, and we get a lot of problem in Europe linked to that. So the most critical point was also the synchronization, or more, the not synchronization between the different situation in the countries and also at the local point. What I mean, for example, when everything starts, it starts in China, and so all the supply from China has a big problem of deliveries, okay? But the demand in Europe was still good. And then after the crisis, the supply start to go well, but the demand in Europe go down. And we also saw it at a local level. For example, if you look to Italy, for example, we have some region which have a big lockdown, and so the demand go down, but the other region was not in the same case. So we had to face a lot of combination between the situation and based on the time during the crisis. So starting from different situation at different time for the different physical locations.
Frank, you mentioned about e-commerce and that you are also in a joint endeavor with a gas station. So what did you experience on the e-commerce side so far?
In the e-commerce, for sure, with the lockdown, we notice an important increasement of the volume ordered through our solution. Mm-hmm. In fact, this crisis was an accelerator of tendency. Let's say before the crisis, we had a business plan on e-commerce. After the crisis, we are much more far from our target. We grow on this field in a way quite important, because the demand of the client was to have services to be delivered at home, to avoid contact outside, and then any solution on the market available to propose this kind of service was a good option for everybody. And then it for sure helped us to grow faster on this kind of solution.
Okay, let's move on about another survey result. From the same survey we did in March, we asked what are the main bottlenecks, and you see it here. You see inbound flows were a bottleneck, but basically two blocks, you see it in red, were on visibility. Visibility of the demand from customers and visibility on the supply side. But of course also inbound flow of raw materials, outbound transportation to customers, operators being sick, so that's a different one, orders being sick in quarantine and protective materials of employees and plants be sick in quarantine. But basically, two things we want to discuss: demand visibility from customers and lack of visibility from the capacity of suppliers. So, Sydney, from your side at Haier, did you have enough visibility for your tier 1 and tier 2 suppliers if they were open, still producing, able to deliver?
Well, this chart is very important. More than a lack of visibility, I would underline the importance of such a visibility in a specific year as the one that we are living in this today. We had the chance to map quite easily the tier 1 and tier 2. At least we did that for the most critical one. And let me say, quite rapidly, we got a picture of what was going on, where the risk was hidden, and how to manage it. So let me say, we reacted very well on visibility on the supply chain. We also had good information, good connection with the customers regarding the customer visibility. But in that case, there was another element that was pretty new, that was the law, because every country, every region was depending by decisions done by politics. So the law was affecting the capability of our customers to react or to give us reliable information. So I would say the framework was there, but the decision maker was outside of the framework. It was the politics.
And now, in the future, could you change the model where you could put also border closures, shops closing down, that kind of stuff? Are you now also include that in your new model for the future?
Let me answer in this way. During the hardest phase of the crisis, we could reinforce some connection with our customers. We built a good collaboration environment with some of them, and we are sharing relevant information in order to react together to whatever is happening outside. So I would say yes, we changed the way to manage the relation and the visibility with the customer. We improved that in several cases, and we are still mapping what is going on region by region. Yeah, but may I say one thing? Differently from the past, now we are working more focused on the same target, because to provide the goods to them is for our success and their success. And now this is more clear to everybody than in the past.
I can imagine. Sebastian, you know, as TESISQUARE, you are providing solutions in a platform shape and also providing visibility. What did you experience on your side? And because although orders are going through your platforms, could you see something about what was visible in this area, or what was your findings regarding visibility on an operational level?
So what we see on operational level, that there is two type of bottlenecks. So the first one is on more material, more personal point on transportation, for example, in which we get a lack of resources. Okay, so during the crisis, having people at home and so on, we get a lot of lack of resource in terms of planner, in terms of drivers, and so on. So both for primary and secondary transportation. So we saw that there is a lack of on the transportation part. The other one is a bottleneck on the information. Okay, people staying at home and so on. We saw that the information that before go very well from suppliers to distributors to customers go in with big difficulties because the people were not present and so on. And so we saw that we get a lack of communication between the different actors. So working with our customer and following what they ask us, we had to work a lot on digitalization and automatic, we'll say, communication between the different actors of the supply chain, in order to avoid that if I have to change one guy because he's at home or he cannot come to work, all the process remain working and all the information continue to go to each actor of the supply chain, starting from supplier, tier 2, tier 1, until to the final customers.
I can imagine, your TESISQUARE is delivering a whole portfolio of products from TMS and visibility and support and so on. But I can imagine not all your customers are using the whole portfolio. Did you see a more quicker rollout of certain projects because they were in need of certain visibility?
So what we see, it's more what they plan to do in few months. They decided to make it in a much more shorter time. So for sure, we see customer pushing by the crisis, asking to go quicker and quicker on the rollout of our solution from one part, and from the other one, effectively, we get from the different customer prospect that we have an higher request on the end-to-end supply chain visibility, both on the real-time one and on the analysis one. Okay. So yes, for us it was a huge period in which our demand as an IT provider increased a lot during this period.
And I was also wondering, a lot of planners had to work from home. Did it bring any problems, or were they happy that they were working on a cloud solution?
So we will see both cases. One some of our customers didn't have all the planning part activated, so they had to ask to their provider to get in charge some part of the process in order to plan the trip in the place of the customer. So it's never a good thing to give them this key in the end in order to plan everything. But some of our customers were obliged to do this kind of things because they didn't digitalize and optimize the transport. And on the other hand, we have some customers which has a automatic process of the planification. And so in this case, they were much more easiest to manage this process and to be able to plan the activities. Same if the planner was not available or working from home, accessing directly to our platform.
Yeah, I can imagine that for the future now, the usage of applications in the cloud will be more paramount and necessary to be more flexible, working out of home, adding more applications and connecting to other systems. That's what
But I think that the key point for cloud is not the fact that to be able to work from home or something like that. Yes, it's a plus of the solution for sure. But the really important point is to be able to connect all the actors together. This is the point of the cloud that which will permit us to have a full view end-to-end of all the activities and so on. When the people will work from home, will work in the office and so on. But I'm not sure it's the key point. The key point is to have all the information in unique point, that all the actors share this unique vision of the supply chain, and they are all able to work together to increase this supply chain and to make it possible.
Yeah, I totally agree. Frank, on your side, what do you see when you look at these slides? What were the bottlenecks on your side at Auchan?
It reminds me something because the bottlenecks that are mentioned are some of the ones that we clearly faced during this period. When we speak about the bottleneck concerning the inbound, it is one of the most critical aspects that we had to manage because on one side there was the dramatic increasement of volume, and on the other side we experienced some problematic with people on sick list, quarantine at a certain stage of our activity in March, and especially in the area of inbound. And we discover at which level we have to develop some solution around the facilitation of the flow of inbound inside of the warehouse. And this is one of the aspects that we really were able to experience. In another hand, it was a crisis quite okay. We saw the crisis, that the crisis is rising, and in another hand, it was quite fast in terms of development of activity, and we also noticed some aspect of responsiveness, and let's say to imagine some alternative scenario to the standard scenario, in order to be able to overlap the volume and the activity that we were having at this time. After, in another hand, I would say that concerning the organization, for sure, the work from home and the way we were able to manage the work from home with some tools of communication well adapted for that, help us to continue to work and to continue to perform the activity during this period with few troubles. And this was an important part of the way to overpass this period.
I was wondering, in the retail, there's a huge dependency. There used to be a huge dependency on EDI communications. I can imagine that in a crisis, people are calling, are mailing, all different kind of communication channels are being used. Do you see things accelerating from EDI to a more hybrid way, or how do you see it in your side, Frank?
From my side, I see that the EDI development in all aspects linked with administrative treatment, ordering, invoicing, and so on are moving quite fast. At this stage, for sure, the EDI message for the treatment of physical flow of goods at the inbound, in particular, are still not so developed. And for our activity, it's important to notice that this field, okay, is a field of interest for sure for industrial and for industry in general. But I see a lot of perspective concerning this technology in order to smooth and to accelerate the physical flow of the goods through the logistic and the platform of treatment of the products. Okay. And for us, it is one of the consequences. In fact, it is one of the aspects that we study after this the facing of the bottleneck. We said what we could do next time, and for sure, EDI development for inbound was and it is a main subject on which we are working locally.
Okay, mentioning EDI, I clicked already through the next slide because I'm showing the hype cycle for supply chain strategy. That's from Gartner. This is the one July 2019. I don't know if they already produced an update for this year. Maybe not, considering COVID-19. What I saw in the last 6 months that COVID-19 is a kind of rocket fuel for all kind of supply chain digitalization. So explaining this in briefly what this Gartner hype cycle is all about from left to right. You see on the left side, some new technology is starting up. For example, they recognize natural language generation as a new technology quite early. And then you'll see, you get to the peak, you see new innovations getting to the peak of the hype, I would say. Blockchain supply chain was last year almost at the peak of the hype. And after a hype, you see some disappointment because some hypes are not coming through. Maybe some vendors are overselling, and then you get into what they call the trough of disillusionment. It's a valley deep down, and then next to it you get the slope of enlightenment. Finally, the companies are understanding and how to use applications, new technology, and at the end, to the right, you get the plateau of productivity, and then all this innovation has been accepted, and like ERP, it's been around and people know how to work with it. Getting back to the crisis, COVID-19, so what I saw is that a lot of projects has been accelerated. So maybe it took years to get something across and implemented, and all of a sudden within a month, a lot of things were happening and accelerated. Sebastian, from your side, what did you see from TESISQUARE? How do you look at this hype cycle, and how do you look at the application of supply chain technology from your side?
From our side, so we are working on some consolidated technology trend, and which were boosted by the pandemic was, for example, the end-to-end visibility. So this is one of the key topic in which we are focused on because of the situation and because also of the direction in which we want to bring our products. The control tower also, which is linked to this end-to-end visibility. So to be able to have in a new place a global view of all the supply chain. So digitalizing all the point of the supply chain. The real-time visibility also, because as the situation is no more stable and known, because it's all unknown situation that we are focused on, it's also important to be able to give a real-time visibility to our customer and to final customer in order to let them know on the supply chain where they are. The last point in which we are focused, it's the IoT. So we have different point of view on fresh item for the supply chain. So we are working on the temperature control in the full supply chain process. So checking the temperature of the camion and the goods in the full supply chain, and also for a more specific on, for example, the year management part. So the control of the warehouse, having IoT in the different point of the warehouse in order to follow the access of the camion and the trips. So these are some consolidated technology in which we are working. Then we are working on some emerging one like diagnostic analytics and risk management. So the crisis bring a biggest focus on the risk. So how to identify, how to manage the risk that we have on the supply chain, starting from tier one, going back to in the supply chain in order to be able to understand all the risk based on the countries, based on the pandemic situation, but also based on political and crisis situation of each point of our supply chain. So both on the inbound process and the outbound process. And then there is some new topics in which we are working. So it's not a priority, but we are working on them. So it's machine learning, natural languages, also to work on the control chain, and the blockchain, which is also a topic that we are looking for. And I think that Frank also could bring some example on blockchain in which we are working.
When I look to this graph and I see, especially, you mentioned end-to-end supply chain risk management, I hear a lot of companies who are really busy with that topic. So I think, this topic will be out of this trough of disillusionment quite quickly. And I think I expect to be on the plateau of productivity already or next year. And regarding machine learning and artificial intelligence, I know that Unilever has applied machine learning and artificial intelligence within 3 months earlier this year. Same with Merck. So I see a lot of acceleration of those types of new innovations in supply chain. So I think that a lot of these dots will move to the right quite quickly. Don't you agree, Sebastian?
Yeah, completely. As we spoke before with Frank and Sine, on the business side, the things has to go quicker because of the situation, because of the crisis and so on. And I think that on the IT part, we have the same case. The crisis bring us to be more reactive, to be more quicker on giving a solution to our customer, because they have to manage so many changes in their supply chain, in their business, in their process. And so it's our job to be able to bring them to this new era and to give all the solution that they need to increase and guarantee the business that they are doing.
Sydney, at Haier, were there specific projects you have seen accelerated out of this chart, moving from left to right, to where you think have been implemented more quickly than before the crisis?
Well, no, the crisis didn't change our priorities in information technology projects, because we were already onboarding a solution for the supply chain management end-to-end, including a big piece of the supply chain visibility, collaboration, supplier collaboration is in particular. On the other side, we have a big project on the IRP, because due to the M&A, we are now in the process of changing the IRP. So most of the framework was already set. We are just proceeding with the same, hoping that our suppliers won't get crowded of new demand and will not divert resources from our project. This is for TESI.
And regarding end-to-end supply chain risk management, the assessment and the financial evaluation of risk, has that changed?
We did an assessment on this. Actually, let me say, the map of the risk is quite clear to us. It is also quite clear the cost and the opportunities to cover these risks. So we won't invest in a specific way in this field in the next few years.
And Frank, what about you? What has been an acceleration at Auchan in these kind of topics and projects?
From our side, as I say, our main topics is to smooth and to have some responsiveness, which is higher than today in our supply chain process. And for us, the supply chain visibility and analytics are quite important aspects in order to develop this principle. And how we proceed, first of all, we implement core model solution for any actor on the chain, and we try to be in capacity to provide good tools with the data collection in order to be well aware about all our activity all along the value chain and the product journey, and after to be in capacity to really use and take advantage of information that we get for analytics or for visibility and predictability of the activity for the actor. There are also some aspects which are linked with some solution to smooth the activity inside the logistic platform. Mechanization is a part of the problematic. Once again, to smooth, to reduce the bottleneck, to make more fluid any transit of products from supplier to any point of sales in our network. And that's some of the aspects on which we are involved. There is also a question of blockchain, but I think it's more linked with the products and the capacity to provide at this stage for the moment. For sure, it's to provide some information on the products and to be able to secure the product perspective for the client.
Yes,
this is mainly the main subject that we have in our hand at the moment.
Okay. We did a survey in June among 106 manufacturing companies and some retailers. So that's after the main peak of COVID-19, beginning of this year. And what you see here, we ask the investment plans in software solutions, supply chain solutions, and S&OP, all the last 5 years, sales and operations planning, or maybe called integrated business planning, was #1 still. So it's still #1, and end-to-end supply chain visibility was now coming up. So what you see in red, that end-to-end supply chain visibility is really in demand, and we made a distinction between overall respondents and the companies who are leading. So if you have like the Gartner supply chain maturity level from 1 to 5. We asked also what is the maturity level, what's the level, and we said the leaders are 4 or 5. So what you see in the orange bars that the leading companies are investing a lot, mostly in end-to-end supply chain visibility in the next 12 months, and S&P a bit less, but they're also investing more in prescriptive analytics, also especially in supply chain network design, tooling, what they call a digital twin, to creating a model of the whole ecosystem, not only their own warehouse and factories, but also including the major suppliers and their factories and warehouses, and possibly also from the customer side, they to create a digital twin or simulation of the ecosystem where they can drive scenarios and do risk assessments. And real-time transport visibility, so not only route planning usually done, but also taking into account the weather, traffic situation, traffic jams, border closing, and you see a lot of investments in real-time transport visibility, and also scheduling and supply chain risk management again, and it's probably related to supply chain network design. To you, Sebastian, you also mentioned real-time transport visibility. So especially in the leading companies, that's in demand. Do you see also a peak in demand from your customers and prospects that they want real-time transport visibility?
Yes, on the retail mainly, we have this kind of request from our customer in order to be able to give more service to the point of sales and to the final delivery. So on this kind of markets, yes, we saw this increase of the demand. As a TESISQUARE roadmap, we will say that I will give you a couple of examples in which we are investing. The first one is for sure the end-to-end supply chain visibility. So for us, it means to create for our customer a digital ecosystem. So it means to be focused on the information, to manage the control of this information all along the full supply chain, starting from the structured agile file communication to the mobile connection in order to follow also the position of the deliveries, and everything working for multi-channel communication agility. Okay, so this is one of the first example. The second one is to work on the TMS. So for us, TMS is not only the planification of the transport. For us, it means to manage all the process around transportation. So it means to work on open in ETMS, open to integration and collaboration with third parties. So with all the actors of the supply chain, open to integrate also new channel like e-commerce, like other kind of business in order to increase all the kind of delivery that we can manage, and also integrate new delivery models. So basing on e-commerce, but not only being able to manage all the kind of deliveries, including inbound and outbound processes in ETMS.
Frank, you mentioned that at Auchan you also are working on a collaboration with a gas station for e-commerce, that kind of activities. Do you see new challenges and new requirements for systems to make it work in e-commerce and e-fulfillment? Frank?
I am here. Sorry. Sorry. Yes, I am with you. Yes, concerning petrol station, it is the problematic of petrol station. It is small volume, big quantity of point of sales, and in this field, the capacity to manage with high performance all the parameter of the procurement, of operation in warehouse and of transport is crucial to ensure a reliable experience in the shop for the customer. And from this perspective, we integrated our solution in order to manage main aspect of the value chain in supply chain. And I would say that it's conform to our priority also. Transport management, it's one of the aspects in this field that it's crucial for us. 400. Okay, when we deliver hypermarket, it's one thing. It's big truck. It's a few point of delivery. It can be many, but it's at a level quite accessible. When we speak about petrol station, we speak about a lot of point of delivery, and the capacity to manage them and to know the situation of the transport in real time and to planificate the thing well is an aspect quite essential.
I can imagine that, you know, inventory management is getting more difficult when you talk about e-commerce, different kind of stocks everywhere, different kind of channels. You have to reserve stock for certain channels, and you have to redirect because some channels are demanding more, especially when e-commerce and certain goods are being in demand. So you see some new needs in inventory management to manage it in a different kind of way.
The inventory management is clear a key, an important key of our perspective, because as I say at the beginning, Auchan is a player in big, in small, in fresh, in dry, in food, in non-food, in physical and in digital trade. And for sure, the way to manage ideally the position of the stock, to optimize the flow of products, to smooth the whole activity is an important factor. It means that for sure we have some perspective to say where is the best place for the stock of product as nearest as possible.
Yeah, I can imagine so.
Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Yes, I was sorry, I was interrupted. But as nearest as possible of a client, it is one of the main concern of inventory management, and offering the most reliable experience for the supplier, also to smooth the activity of the supplier, and to do ensure that the supplier is delivering on one point, not on many points. And this is also an aspect of inventory management that we consider.
But when I have inventory close to the customer, that's the ideal world. But sometimes you have the wrong inventory at the wrong place, so you have to redirect it, or you have a central station where you have to redirect the inventory when you don't know where the demand is coming from. So is that going to change in the inventory model? Right?
Yes, after yes, the point to have the inventory in the right place, it's mainly to say to have the high rotation as near as possible as the client, the low rotation as much as possible in common.
Yeah.
Because it is for sure a key of smoothing the activity and to avoid the big mistake linked with the position of the stock in the global network.
I can imagine so. Sydney, you mentioned with the integration of Candy, you are into a phase of implementing a new ERP system. But next to that, I can imagine there are more needs for systems for the near future.
Yes, it's true, but our strategy has been in the past years to change first the vertical solution and then to think to the IRP. So let me say that the most specific, the most particular processes, the most, how can I say, vertical processes are already supported by specific solutions. For example, the supply chain is one of these, but also the CRM or the PLM. So we have already 5 or 6 vertical solutions in place, and we are working in order to change the IRP below them. So it will be a challenge of integration. It will be a challenge of swap how can I say, to change the interfaces from the last one to the new one, keeping the operation going on without the disruptions.
Okay, that's clear. We're getting near to the end of the hour. It's an interesting discussion so far. So next to the slide, we have only the questions slide. So in the audience, you know, if you are having some questions, start asking them now. We created this slide in the last year with some supply chain executive to give an overview of what is the end-to-end supply chain visibility. So from left to right, you see your raw materials. To the right, you see the end usage by consumers, maybe patients or B2B customers. On the left side, you see the upstream focus when you're looking at suppliers. You're supplying the materials and raw materials and the parts, I would say. And you will see the problem of upstream visibility. Of course, you know your direct tier 1 supplier, and sometimes you know your tier 2 supplier, but most of the companies don't know their tier 3 suppliers. So upstream, you see supplier risk and compliance as a focus, total landed cost, especially from the Far East, inbound materials and products, where are they, and are they arriving on time? In the middle, you see the internal visibility, I would say. You see a whole stack of applications, your system of records, your ERP system is the backbone, I would say, and on top of that you have your TMS, WMS, APS, and then you have your inventory management systems and SNOP. And the higher you get more strategic, more a long-term horizon, network design. You see, okay, where should I have my factories, my warehouses, etc. So this is the stack of IT, I would say. And on the right side, you had your downstream focus, your channels. If you are a manufacturer, you have your distributor, your wholesale, a retailer, or if you are a retailer, the whole green side is part of your business. And downstream, you talk about customer profitability and delivery status. So this is the whole field of end-to-end supply chain visibility. So it's on an operational level, where are my trucks, where are my pallets? In the middle level, you have the capacity planning area, and on the strategic level, talk about, well, the financial viability of your suppliers and your commercial channel. And in the same token, you have talk about short horizon and long horizon. Sebastian, so when you look at this field, this is a whole spectrum of end-to-end supply chain visibility. So what are you covering?
So our objective, I saw that, for example, the TMS is a little box in the middle, also for the supplier relationship management. It's also the objective that we have is to have a solution which will bring you a full view about all of this end-to-end supply chain visibility. So using the supply chain management and the transport management as a connector point between all of this tier and all the delivery chain. Okay, so this is the objective that we have in TESISQUARE, is to be able to bring to a customer this end-to-end supply chain visibility, getting also information about the supply chain management, order management, and transportation management, giving to our customers the possibility to change the supply chain at the last moment based on the situation. So, for example, is what we did in Haier with Sydney, is to give to our customers the possibility to have the full view and to be able to act at the last moment on what to do with the transport, on what to do with the goods, and assign the goods to the good distributor or point in the supply chain. So this is what we are focused on, and to bring this, not only the visibility, but also the possibility to act during the supply chain and to be more active and more efficient. And this means also be able to change quickly about supplier or carrier because of the availability and capacity of each actors One of the objectives also is to be able, through this end-to-end visibility and management, to be able to act and to react on the different events.
We're almost out of time. We have 1 minute before the hour. So we answered already some questions for the audience, and I asked them, for you. So if there might be more questions, feel free to send me a mail, or I will send them over to Auchan or Haier or TESISQUARE. So I want to like to wrap up. Finally, there's some more information. To the left, you see a link to a self-assessment of end-to-end supply chain planning and visibility. So this is something we have done together with some major companies like Henkel, Unilever, Johnson & Johnson, HPE. We created a self-assessment, an easy Excel with 90 questions where you can assess where you have your end-to-end supply chain visibility. TESISQUARE has also presented at our Innovate Supply Chain event October 13. You can see a recording of this presentation of the whole portfolio of TESISQUARE. And to the right side, you see a checklist also created by TESISQUARE, how to get a better grasp on your value chain risks. So you can download this. As mentioned, this webinar has been recorded. You will get the slides as PDF later on this week. And to wrap it up, these are the contact details of TESISQUARE, so you will get in contact to them. With this, I would like to thank you for this interactive session. I would like to thank you, Frank. Thank you for your contribution to this discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Sebastian, thank you for hosting and making this possible with your customers.
You're welcome. Thank you a lot to Frank and Sidney for the participation.
And Sidney, last but not least, thank you for joining us and giving your expertise to the audience.
Thank you to you. Thank you.
All the listeners, thank you for joining us. There were a lot of among you, and I hope that you enjoyed this interactive version. And maybe you have seen a lot of webinars in the last month, and maybe you're getting a bit fatigued, but you are a large number today. And in the future, I expect to have more webinars still. And hopefully they will be as interactive as we had in this hour. So thanks again. You will get a link of this recording later on within 2 days, and I hope to hear you soon in another webinar. Thank you, Frank, Sebastian, and Sidney, and I hope to hear you next time, possibly live in real life. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.